We're going to look at it. So foul there on Indiana, on hole there. But then that is a technical.
That is a technical. Dead ball, contact technical.
It's a little surprising to see so many of these happen in one game because...
Oh, and I don't like the way Lexi held.
The game between the Indiana Fever and Minnesota Lynx wasn't just another night of basketball. It was a test of survival for a team already stretched beyond breaking. Walking into the Target Center, Indiana had more players in street clothes than in uniform. Caitlin Clark was out nursing a groin injury that had sidelined her for weeks. Sophie Cunningham's season was over after tearing her MCL. Sydney Colson had already been lost with a devastating ACL tear. Aari McDonald was shut down for the season with a foot injury. Chloe Beebe was added to the injury list with knee soreness. That's 5 rotation players gone, and it left the Fever scrambling for answers. Odyssey Sims, who was signed as a hardship replacement, hobbled onto the court even though she wasn't near full strength. But with so many players unavailable, she had no choice but to suit up and give them whatever minutes she could manage. Think about how insane that is. Half your roster unavailable.
Every time a game happens in the WNBA, somebody's getting abused, somebody getting beaten, somebody is getting hurt, man. Somebody is getting hurt every game in the WNBA, and they just fail to realize this, fail to have any protocols on stopping the nonsense. My goodness.
Your veterans limping and your chemistry shredded by constant new signings. And then to make matters worse, the referees inserted themselves as if Indiana didn't already have enough stacked against them. Lexi Hull, who has been forced into a role far beyond her typical minutes, was battling on the defensive end against Kayla McBride.
The Indiana Fever's injury bug is getting into spooky territory. It seems like there's a new player every single day that's getting injured. Right now they have Caitlin Clark out, not sure if she will be returning this season. Sid Colson out with a season-ending ACL tear. Aari McDonald out with a season-ending fracture in her foot. Sophie Cunningham out with a season-ending MCL tear. And then just today, before the game, they announced that Chloe Beebe would be out with a knee injury, and basically they just said it's soreness and they're just playing it safe.
Suddenly, McBride swung through and her elbow smashed straight into Hull's face. Hull went down clutching her jaw. The replay showed clear and heavy contact, and everyone in the arena thought the same thing. It had to be a foul on McBride. But no, the refs stunned everyone by calling the foul on Hull herself.
Lexi, did you come into tonight kind of expecting to play darn near the whole game just with the injury situation and the personnel available?
Damn, you played 37 minutes.
I mean, you played a lot too, Kels. What did you play? 35. I mean, yeah, we're down people, so gotta suck it up, play a little tired a few minutes, and take in those timeouts as best we can. But yeah, I mean, we're down people, so everyone's got to do a little more.
The player who took the elbow, the one who was clearly struck in the face, was punished as if she caused it. The arena buzzed with disbelief. Even the commentators couldn't hide their shock as they replayed the footage again and again. It was blatant. But instead of correcting the call, the referees doubled down, upgrading it slightly but still refusing to hold McBride accountable. That was the tipping point.
We've had 3 players in the last I don't know how many days, and 2 of those players are point guards, so not really. But you know, at the same time, our ability to make plays out of what we have, right? I think a lot of our spacing allows players to do what they do best, creates opportunities for them to be successful, and then it's just making the right reads and finding the right pass, on time, on target. And some of that is with experience with your teammates, and some of that is instinct. And so we are trying to do as much as we can to put players in position to use those instincts.
The Fever were already fighting uphill with barely enough bodies to field a lineup, and now the officials were actively tilting the scales against them. Fans online erupted immediately. Was this incompetence or something more sinister? Because the pattern was hard to ignore. Over and over this season, Indiana's players have taken the brunt of physical play without the whistle to protect them. Caitlin Clark has been hammered repeatedly on drives with no calls.
At this rate, the Fever are going to end the season with a completely different team than what they started the season with. And even the players that they're bringing in on hardship or that they're signing midway through the season, they're now going down with injuries. The season from hell would be an understatement on this team right now.
Aaliyah Boston battles double teams that look more like rugby scrums. Sophie Cunningham took brutal hits before her season-ending injury. And now Hull eats an elbow to the jaw and somehow gets blamed for it. What message does that send? That Indiana players are fair game for punishment while opponents skate free. Social media didn't hesitate to voice the frustration, calling out the league for letting a young roster get abused without consequence.
Kayla McBride, 13 points for Kayla McBride. Hit Lexi Hull with an elbow. Foul on Lexi Hull. Hits Lexi Hull with an elbow, foul on Lexi Hull.
This wasn't just a missed call. It was a symbol of the larger disrespect the Fever have been facing all year long. And yet, despite the chaos, Indiana refused to quit. Kelsey Mitchell put on another gutsy performance, scoring 26 points and battling through traps and double teams like her life depended on it. Every possession she attacked, trying to keep the Fever alive. It was the kind of effort that deserves to be rewarded, not undermined.
This was intentional. Now, if it wasn't intentional, okay, give it a flagrant one. I understand it. She wasn't trying to do it. Cool. But this was intentional. All right? She had malice on the heart with this one. Bad intentions. Okay? She was trying to wreck some stuff up there doing this one. Hey, let's just keep it a grand, man. Let's just keep it a grand. Kayla McBride was trying to knock Lexi right on her booty cheeks, but she succeeded at, fam. Knocked her clean out. Look at this.
The tragedy is that Mitchell's brilliance was paired with makeshift lineups featuring hardship players who hadn't even had time to practice together. Shea Petty, barely in town long enough to learn the playbook, came off the bench and dropped 16 points like she had been with the team all season. That's how desperate the situation was. Emergency signings becoming the lifeline. Ariel Powers, another late addition, was forced into major minutes too, grinding through defensive matchups and trying to inject energy.
Indiana started this game 9 of 13, but has missed 4 straight until Shea Petty.
And in the middle of all this chaos, Aaliyah Boston kept anchoring the paint. Double-teamed, bumped, shoved, she never stopped fighting. Her rebounding and defensive presence were the only reason Indiana stayed competitive. She didn't need 30 points to make an impact. Her toughness and composure were what kept this fragile team glued together.
Reaction looked like it was a lot more violent than that. It still gotta hurt though. The pass from Williams. Oh, Collier is blocked.
Fans watching could feel it. This wasn't just a basketball game. It was survival under fire from every angle. Injuries, officiating, and overwhelming opponents. Yet somehow, Indiana still punched back. The real question everyone is asking is simple. How much more can this Indiana Fever team withstand before it finally breaks? The answer may depend on one player, Caitlin Clark. For weeks, fans have been waiting and watching, desperate for any sign of her return. Against Minnesota, they finally got hope.
Dribble. Carrington got a piece of it. Powers gets it back. Second attempt, up and in. And she's fouled.
The basket, and then she's just fighting and battling for her shot.
Clark wasn't cleared to play, but she was back on the floor during shoot-around, moving with teammates, dribbling, and getting shots up. That sight alone electrified the fan base. Social media exploded with clips of her warm-ups, every frame dissected like a forensic report. Was she moving smoothly? Did she look pain-free? Was her footwork sharp? Fans are desperate because they know the truth. Without Clark, Indiana isn't a playoff team. Kelsey Mitchell can score in bunches, Aaliyah Boston can hold the paint, and Lexi Hull can step up, but none of them can organize the offense the way Clark can. She isn't just a scorer, she's the conductor of the entire system. Her gravity bends defenses, her passing unlocks teammates, and her leadership changes the feel of the game.
This team needs Caitlin Clark to come back in the worst way. Not only if they want to save this, if they want to even play in mid to late September. This isn't a playoff team, what we're watching right now. This isn't a playoff team. This is a Kelsey Mitchell, please save us team. Kelsey Mitchell, we need 40 and 10. 40 points, 10 assists from you every night to be in the playoffs. We need a Herculean effort in the second half. We need Lexi Hull catching fire late in the fourth quarter and in overtime for this team to continue to stay in the playoffs.
Without her, possessions feel disconnected, like 5 players trying to improvise at once. With her, everything flows. That's why her return is the most important storyline of the Fever's season. Right now, Indiana sits in the 8th and final playoff spot with a slim 1-game cushion. Their record after the Minnesota loss was 19-18, and the schedule ahead is brutal.
We got our best indication yet that Caitlin Clark is on her way back toward a return for the Indiana Fever. That's because she was seen participating in shoot-around before the Minnesota Lynx game. Now, that doesn't mean she's playing. She's still out for that game, and she hasn't returned to full practice yet, but she is back on the court with her teammates. This coming on the heels of Stephanie White saying she hopes that Clark would return to the lineup before the regular season is out, and that when you see her participating in practice, you will know she's on the way back.
Seattle, Golden State, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Every game is a war. Every loss risks dropping them out of the picture. Stephanie White has been blunt about it. Clark has to come back soon or the Fever's playoff dreams vanish. The math doesn't lie. Without her, this team runs out of firepower and runs out of bodies. But with her, they can scare anyone in the league. Imagine Clark setting up Boston for easy finishes, Mitchell getting cleaner looks off her playmaking, and Hull sliding back into a more comfortable role. Suddenly, Indiana doesn't look like a patchwork team anymore, they look like a contender. That's why the pressure on Clark's return is enormous. Even though she's still only practicing in limited form, the energy shift is real. Teammates admitted seeing her back on the floor lifted their spirits. For a roster that's been battered by injuries, just knowing their star is close gives them reason to keep fighting. Fans feel it too. There's nervous optimism, a belief that if Clark can get back on the court, even for the final stretch, she can pull them into the postseason. But the bigger question lingers. Will the league allow it? Because injuries alone are hard enough, but when referees tilt games with questionable calls, it becomes nearly impossible. Indiana isn't just battling opponents, they're battling perception. Players like Hull shouldn't have to take elbows to the face without protection. Mitchell shouldn't have to carry the offense alone while getting hacked with no whistle. Boston shouldn't have to fight through rugby scrums just to earn position. Yet this is the reality Indiana lives with every night. That's why Clark's return isn't just about points, it's about changing the narrative. Her presence forces the league to treat games differently because she brings eyes, ratings, and accountability. The Fever need that. They need the balance tipped back in their favor. Otherwise, they risk becoming another team lost to injuries and bad officiating. For now, the fight continues. Shea Petty, Ariel Powers, Odyssey Sims, and the rest of the patchwork roster will keep scratching and clawing. Mitchell will keep pouring in points. Boston will keep anchoring the paint. Hull will keep grinding, despite the punishment. But everyone knows the truth. This team goes as far as Caitlin Clark can take them. When she returns, everything changes. Until then, Indiana is surviving on grit and hope alone. The season has become a war of attrition, but the Fever haven't quit yet. And if Clark does make it back before the final push, the story could flip overnight from disaster to miracle. Do you think the referees are out to get Indiana, or is it just bad luck? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. This fight isn't over, and with Caitlin Clark back on the horizon, the Fever might have one last rally left in them.
You know, so you see Caitlin Clark, this video captured by Chloe Peterson at Shoot Around. You can see Caitlin doing some work right there, just, warm-up work, back and forth on the court, but nonetheless on a basketball court. It's been a long time since we've seen Caitlin Clark on a basketball court. Certainly a long time since we've seen Caitlin Clark play basketball. Then there was a little bit more footage here, and you see Caitlin involved on the floor yet again, even handling the ball, working with her teammates. I mean, that's an important sign there, to see her working with her teammates.